Y'all planning for this?
Welcome back, TPR Nation. This is Jamie Shalansky in an episode of Worlds to Conquer, where we're going to dive into our client onboarding process. This has been a 4-part series where we have navigated how we set expectations and deliver massive value during that first year of working with a client. We went through the different order of which we manage financial planning topics and set really good expectations with clients about Surge and meeting with us and who on our team is empowered to handle which areas of their financial plan. At Shalansky & Associates, we pride ourselves on being comprehensive financial planners, and that means if it involves money, we want to be involved in the conversation about it. Something that Floyd often says is we want to be your 411 and your 911. 411 if you need information. We might not have all the answers, but we'll probably be able to point you in the right direction. 911, if an emergency happens, do not take an action without talking to us first. We really want to make sure that we're vital and playing our part in that role to handle things. And we've had clients call us because kids have been in car accidents, they've lost a spouse, they've lost a job, someone is being sued because some contractor got hurt on the property. I mean, all those 911 scenarios in which we're able to help make sure the client is doing things in the right order, mitigating their risk wherever possible, and talking to the right professionals. And that all begins with starting that planning process. So we handle all areas of finances: estate planning, cash flow, retirement income, risk management, investments, tax planning, and then of course goals. And we work with a lot of small businesses as well. And during that first year of working together, our clients are going to be so excited to get started on everything. They're going to want to get that house built as soon as possible. But all houses start with what? A solid foundation. So we do our financial planning in a particular order. Now, will we have to adjust that order if some type of emergency or deadline is arriving? Of course, such as, for instance, if we have a client that's going to be retiring in the next 6 to 9 months instead of the next several years, we might make some adjustments to that. If we have a client that's losing their job, we might make adjustments to that timeline. But most of the time, we are almost always following our process and getting our client's financial plan built in the order that we have outlined. So after we've built the estate plan with the client, we're always talking about cash flow and risk management. And then we go into the retirement income and the goal planning and investments. So during that investment conversation, one of the ones we do not lead with during our first initial conversation is only talking about investments. We want to show that we are comprehensive financial planners, and we're going to talk about all areas of a client's finances, not just their investments. In fact, we oftentimes beat into the heads of financial advisors that they need to be looking out for their client's best interest. And of course, that seems like table stakes, right? Every client out there, you're looking out for their best interest. You're a financial advisor. Of course, you're making those decisions. However, how many times have you caught yourself flipping very quickly to either a TSP statement, a 401k statement, investment accounts, or looking at their total assets overall? Are you guilty of getting commission breath by talking about investments too early in the conversation? It's easy for financial planners to do that because oftentimes, if you are in a hybrid practice or if you are in an AUM only model, you are looking at investments because that is how you get paid. It is in your self-interest to see what that account value is and project your income out accordingly. I understand that. I get it. I sympathize with it. However, it is not delivering massive value to clients. And when you start with the investments first, when you start by putting your interest ahead of their own, where does that stop? How many times have you gotten commission breath or jumped the gun on transferring assets? And also, you don't know in that first meeting or 2 meetings if this is going to be a long-term sustainable relationship. What if you had a phenomenal prospect meeting, but that second appointment, something was off? What if the first appointment, something was off, but the second meeting was fantastic? We've had that happen in our office just this last surge. We had a great prospect come through the door. The first meeting was a train wreck. It was awful. It was super, super awkward. They wanted to schedule another meeting because they didn't feel that they had their questions answered, scheduled a second consultation. She apologized. They had just changed her medication. She was really sick during that initial conversation, and she was much better and in a happier state of mind during the second one. That's going to happen. People are people. But had we started that very first conversation talking about investments and asking them to transfer their entire life savings to our company for us to manage, I don't know if we would have had a second appointment. She might have reflected on that and felt that we were quote unquote money hungry or, too only interested in talking about investments. That is definitely one part of what we do. It is not the only part of what we do. And we want to make sure that we're providing continual value. So we'll have that investment conversation. Most oftentimes, clients bring it up to us before we bring it up to them. And they say, hey, it'd be really great if you could manage this. I would love to, as I retire, move these accounts over. Are you willing to take those on as well? And so we start to have those conversations. A lot of our clients, they'll have an employer, like a TSP or 401k, some type of employer plan. They'll also have IRAs. And as soon as they start working with us, if they don't already, they will also have a Roth IRA because we want to start that time clock, even if we're only in a position to minimally fund that Roth. Many of our clients will have outside investments. Those are investment accounts that they started with previous employers that have been left dormant, maybe at Fidelity or somewhere. And then we will also have clients that have started online accounts, wanted to dabble or play around with different investments, but haven't really been regularly disciplined, watching, monitoring, etc., because they have full-time jobs and other things to do. So they will come to us and say, hey, we've got these dozen accounts. Is this something that you guys can manage? I'd really like to have less. And then we will have a conversation about consolidation. And we will take all of those employer plans that have been straggling around and we'll consolidate them into an IRA. Now, during that process, this is going to be very confusing oftentimes for clients because they're going to used to having all of these statements with various different letterheads for various different accounts. And when we go to consolidate them, we think in our minds we're making life a lot easier, but they are used to seeing statements on different letterhead for different accounts. And all of a sudden, those are going to go away, account numbers are going to change, and it's going to look and feel different. So every time I'm working with a client that has a plethora of different investment accounts that we're going to consolidate, we want to make sure that we're designing a flow chart. And a flow chart is really, really simple. It is one page and it lists out all of their different accounts and then arrows flowing down to where those transferred to. And this idea came to me because I had one of those clients that had been with us for several years bring in with them a grocery basket full of all of their old statements and said, listen, I know I have these accounts at Schwab. That's who we custodian with in our RIA. But what happened to this American General? What happened to this Commonwealth? What happened to this Fidelity account? And then all of a sudden it occurred to me that while we were consolidating to make life easier for the client, they might have gotten confused with where the money went, especially as we were tying assets together. So I went and left my operations department and I said, hey, listen, we drew it out on a whiteboard. And I said, here's the challenge. A lot of times when we do these consolidation, clients are signing paperwork that looks like they have bought a house. It's so thick and it's really confusing for them that the letterhead and account numbers are going to change. And they're used to having all of this information pointing to that grocery bag full of statements. And so I said, could we design a flow chart where we show all of the list of the account numbers, who they were with, and then where those accounts went into? And they said, oh gosh, Jamie, yeah, that's too easy. And so all of a sudden we made it part of our account transfer process that now clients can receive on a single page, just a very simple flow chart that says, here's your 4 accounts that you had at these various custodians that are IRAs from previous employer plans, whatever it is. And here is where they went to, and all that money is deposited into X account at Schwab. When I presented this to that client that had brought that grocery bag full of statements in, she looked at it and said, thank you so much. Can I go ahead and shred all of these items now? She had been holding on to those statements because she was really concerned. Maybe she had left that money out there with other companies and didn't know how to access it or to have it managed or what to do with it. So alleviating those concerns, delivering massive value with something as simple as a flow chart that you present to them on a single page that says, here's all of your old accounts and here's where they transferred to, was incredibly valuable to that client. Now, if our clients are still employed, I mentioned that we're going to go through their employee benefits with them and make sure that they have all the elections that they should. Oftentimes oftentimes when people start a new career, they're super excited. They sit down with HR, they get some type of login or packet. In my experience, HR people have very good intentions, but are giving them advice based on what other people in the office have done, not that particular person's situation. So I like to sit down and go over all of the benefits that are being offered. Sometimes I will ask someone, hey, does your employer have a 401k plan? Do they have a disability plan, et cetera? And they will say yes or no. Oftentimes, what the client ends up telling me is incorrect according to the booklet. In fact, I had a doctor working at a practice for years. And every year I said, are you sure they don't have a 401k plan? I really think that they do. Could you go back and ask your HR person? She asked this HR person every year and would get a response in email that no, they did not have one. When she separated from that practice and moved on to another, she got a letter saying, oh, by the way, we see that you did not enroll in our 401k, therefore there's no vesting, etc. And I was like, son of a gun. We have asked over and over if they had a 401k plan, and the answer was always no. So now it just becomes part of my process that if I have a client that is working, I want to see their entire employee benefits package. Give me the whole glossy paperwork. Let me sort through it with my ops team, see what benefits are available. This is also really important for young clients for insurance options, right? What are they enrolled in? The greatest threat to a young person is not necessarily loss of life, but it can be loss of income. So making sure we're enrolling in disability might be something that is worth reviewing that maybe they passed up on or got advice not to enroll in at their company. That also means around each November time, it'll be open enrollment season, and we put a bursary review on their benefits and make sure that if there are any additional ones that they need to enroll in, that they are. If we want to make any changes, this is a good time. Of course, we always practice that dishwasher rule. As my baby brother, Micah Shalansky, says, if he does the dishes and his wife does not see him doing the dishes, did the dishes actually get done? So we call this the dishwasher rule in financial planning. We do a lot of work that clients do not always know about. There's a lot of mental evaluation, looking over items and making a decision. Now, I do not just go back to clients and say, oh, by the way, I want you to do X. Sometimes I go back to clients and say, hey, I've reviewed X and I don't want you to take any action, but I did put eyes on this for you. And so I want to get credit for the work that I'm doing, even if the work I'm doing doesn't result in a direct action. Now, when we brought on that new client, we set a whole host of expectations with them, what we're going to do, what we're going to cover, how we're going to operate, etc. So I want to make sure, especially during that initial relationship and our ongoing relationship, that we're doing what we said we are going to do. And so oftentimes I will use in my conversation, I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, when you first joined us, you might have remembered that we talked about your financial house. And we both agreed that if any house that's being built starts with a solid foundation, your foundation was your estate planning. And I told you that every couple of years, even if nothing in your life has changed, I just want to put a cursory view on all of your beneficiary designations. I will print down the beneficiary report. If you are a member of Backstage Pass or Invictus, you have access to this online. If you are not a member of Backstage Pass or Invictus, what are you doing with your life? Seriously, you need to be a part of the membership that is changing the financial planning industry by concentrating on providing massive value on a continual basis to clients. If you are that type of a financial advisor, then join the community of other financial advisors who practice what they preach and do the exact same thing. Our beneficiary report, as featured on Michael Kitz's, is unique because it gives information to the client that they can actually do something with. We go over the primaries, we go over the contingents, we go over the percentage. Then we take that percentage of their assets and we put them into real dollars. And then that has inspired so many conversations. Oftentimes, husband and wife will say, leave everything to the kids, split it 50-50. And my kid's 19 years old and we'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, happy to do so. So just to be comfortable with that, you're going to leave everything to your 19-year-old son, therefore split between him and his sister. He will inherit $2.5 million with no restrictions. Is that still your wish? And then that is generally where you will hear screeching noises of car brakes slamming on and clients saying, whoa, 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 whoa. How much are we leaving them at 19 years old? Absolutely not. What can we do about this? But we want to have those continual conversations. We want to bring up those beneficiary designations. We want to work with clients throughout their entire lifetime. And in doing so, that means that their lives are going to change over time. They are going to learn the financial maturity of their children. They are going to have in-laws, and they're going to watch their kids go through divorces. They're going to watch their grandbabies get born. They're going to see split custody happen. They're going to have invalid parents that need additional care that they can no longer leave assets to because it will disqualify them from any additional care that they might need from Medicaid. So their lives are going to evolve and change, and your responsibility is to evolve and change with them. And even if nothing changes for 20 years, I have never once since providing this to clients had them turn around to me and say, I don't need you to look at this anymore. Nothing changes. Forget about it. Just take your eyes off of it. Instead, the comments I get are, I really appreciate you putting eyes on this. It makes me feel that much more comfortable knowing that it's taken care of. And we're going to continue to deliver on that value throughout the entire relationship of working with the client because we do what we say we are going to do. And our job is to deliver massive value to clients on a regular basis. Now, during that first year of working with us, we have the opportunity to do something radical, and that is to make the clients raving fans of our firm. That first 12 months of working with a client, you have an opportunity to have the most amount of referrals the client is ever going to give you. Now, we are blessed that we have great clients and they're constantly referring to our practice, but the reality is that first 12 months of working with someone, we are going to radically change their lives financially. And that is when they are going to be in the most amount of conversations working with people. Think about this. They will be sitting around talking to coworkers about, oh, my financial advisor just told me, or, oh, we just hired this company, or, oh, yes, I've got to meet with an attorney because we're working with a financial advisor and this is what we have to get done first. Or, hey, can I get my insurance policies? I just started working with this advisor. They want to put eyes on everything, etc. And so not only are clients super pumped about all of the work that we're doing in designing their financial plan, but they are most likely to share that with as many people as they come in contact with. And so I want to put clients in a position of making sure that I am capitalizing on those referrals and creating that positive energy and that buzz about what we are doing because we are excited about financial planning. We absolutely love the power of changing people's lives and being able to make a difference. So I want to make clients excited about talking to us, and I want them in turn to talk to others. What does your referral campaign look like that first year? Are you capitalizing on the opportunity to deliver massive value and also creating an opportunity for clients to talk about you without you sitting them down and asking them for a list of their 5 closest friends or family members? Do not do this. Run away from any financial advisor, marketer, or anyone else that tells you to do this. Patronize local stores, get creative, do fun things, do things that we love to talk about and share. So not only will we send them a handwritten thank you card for entrusting us to work with them on a financial basis, but we will also send them a baked goods basket. We'll go to a local bakery. We'll have a basket that's pre-made, put together, maybe some traditional bakery items, some sugar-free, some gluten-free, some vegan, and then we will have that basket delivered to the client's place of work. Why will I do that? Because I want that client to get the most amount of attention and say, oh, where did you get this item from? And they'll be like, oh, my financial advisor sent it to me. And then what is the only question that that person who is looking on this basket is going to think to themselves? My financial advisor never sent me the basket. Now, I go one step further. I do not neglect the person that sent me the referral. So if you are a new client and you were referred to us by our existing client, I also send you a basket of baked items. And I say, thank you so much for trusting us to refer us to your friends. We love talking to them. In fact, we had a client that sent us 5 different professional referrals because he loved getting the baskets. And normally our process had been that we don't send baskets if the person doesn't become a client. We send the basket only if they become a client. And so on his 6th one, we met with a prospect, wasn't a good fit. We didn't pitch them. And then 7 days later, he had emailed in and said, hey, listen, I know my friends met with you. They were really excited, but where are my cookies? I didn't get any brownies. Where's my basket? And so we had to change our process a little bit that anytime anyone refers anyone to us and they have that appointment, we're going to send them a gift basket thanking them anyway. We just won't send the new client, because they're not a new client, a basket. Anytime someone says, thank you for this, thank you for that, I say, hey, absolutely, I'm passionate about financial planning. I love working with people just like you. And the reason I say that, that's a Bill Good trait, right? Everyone remember Bill Good marketing, guerrilla software? I grew up on that stuff, cutting my teeth on his marketing. And one thing that Bill Good mastered was the drip campaign, always asking for the referrals in a non-solicitous way. So I always say, great, I love working with people just like you. If you know anyone else, please let me know. And so I use that language because I want people to identify that they have a unique quality about them, because generally birds of a feather flock together. And then I want them telling their closest friends. I want them to almost keep me a secret that they only want to share with the people that they like the most. I don't want every single person that they possibly know to call my office, because they might not like or share values with every single person that they know. And part of the premise of our company is we want to work with good people. We want to work with people who we share values with. I firmly believe that if you share values and create a common good together, you can conquer the world. All right, as we round out this 4-part series in which we have dove into our onboarding process of new clients, we went through a lot of material. We talked about setting expectations, how Surge works with the calendar, with our pipeline and tracking prospects. We talked about different scripts and how RMs use those scripts to reinforce our values of our company and setting expectations. We guided you through what prospects give us for that initial consultation and what those first couple of appointments look like. We talked about Surge and how we work that with new clients and how many times they come into our office and how many points of contact they have with the rest of our team. And then we also just rounded it out with talking about the massive value that you need to deliver that very first year with that client. Ongoing, perpetually, always, of course. But that first year, you need to strike while the iron's hot. And so your action item from this conversation, wrapping this up now, is to jump online, tag us at theperfectra.com, join us on LinkedIn, Twitter, social, anywhere you want, and tell us what your referral process is. What are you doing? What are those little things? I shared with you mine. I love to send local items from a bakery. Sometimes I'll change that up, making sure I support local artists in some way, but something to get my name in an unconventional way in front of clients in a social situation. So jump online, share with us, what do you do for referrals? How are you growing your practice? I cannot tell you how many financial advisors walk up to me and want to talk to me about marketing. And I ask them, I said, great, where do most of your clients come from? And they say referrals. And I said, wonderful. What do you do to get those referrals? Silence. Tell me you are not part of that group. Tell me how you are getting referrals on a continued, ongoing basis. What is it that you are doing to make yourself one of a kind instead of one of many?
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father,